Hey y'all, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to Only on Mondays. It's your girl Kelly. I'm back with you guys once again to get into a few topics today. And I just want to thank you so much for being here and clicking on the video. If this is your first time being with us here today, please click subscribe and join us. I really want to get into some things with you guys. I want to build the audience so we can have a very good witty repartee. We can talk about some things, we can get into some things, we can joke, we can laugh, we can cry, whatever the case may be. I want you guys here with me. I want to know what y'all think. So if you are returning, thank you so much for being here once again. And I love you guys so much, and let's just get right into it. What are we talking about today? So we're talking about the Second Amendment, guys. The gun grabbers, the leftist gun grabbers are out here and they are looking to grab, okay? They want your ARs, like Beto said. They want your AK-47s. They want your 9mm rounds, guys. They want everything. They want it all. And more than anything, they want you to be a willing participant in the destruction of your rights. Don't let them do it, guys. Don't let them do it. So, who are we talking about today? Of course, the present pudding pop head in charge, the former vice president, Joe Biden, guys. We're going to get into him and his comments about the Second Amendment over Memorial Day. And we're also going to get into the resident blackface wearer in charge, the blackface enjoyer, the great, the powerful Justin Trudeau. And we're going to talk about his little gun grab. And then finally, we're going to get into, I would say, she's like runner-up. She is, on roll, but she's still important in the fight for guns, Nancy Pelosi. And she's not so much here to talk about her desire to take all your guns, which, let's not mince words, she does desire this. But we're here more to poke fun at Paul Pelosi and his inability to drive, and how it all ties back into our Second Amendment rights. How do we go on to protect ourselves from drunk drivers like Paul Pelosi? If he gets out of his car after hitting you while being drunk, and he's belligerent, and he's attacking you because he doesn't want to get his family name in trouble, if you don't have a gun, how are you going to protect yourself? Obviously, we're speaking hyperbole here, guys, but we can tie it all in somehow, some way. And we're going to do it here today on Only on Mondays. Thank you once again for joining me, guys. It is today, Tuesday, May 31st. And yeah, let's get right into Joe Biden's dirty little comments over the weekend. And let's see what he had to say. And then we're going to dive right into it, guys. So here we go. Reliable little rusty Twitter, which I'm still banned from. Thanks a lot, Elon Musk. Thanks for nothing, my guy. Thank you for absolutely nothing. Here we go.
And they showed me a X-ray. He said a .22 caliber bullet will lodge in a lung, and we can probably get it out. May be able to get it and save the life. A 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body.
What?
So the idea of these high-caliber weapons is there's simply no rational basis for it in terms of what they say about self-protection, hunting. Remember, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, was never absolute.
Okay. I have many words for Joe Biden, but I wish he would go and sit on a fucking rusty nail, because how dare the former vice president? It makes my blood boil to hear our former vice president, Pudding Pop himself, say that the Constitution and the Second Amendment was never absolute. I'm sorry. ¿Qué pasa? What was that? Run it back for me once again, old head, because I didn't quite understand you whenever you say that our Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, the greatest document ever drafted by some of the greatest people to ever have existed, who had the forethought, who had the, the intelligence and the wisdom to know, to put in explicit terms, the Second Amendment, which let's just understand, guys. The Second Amendment is the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Okay? It is absolute. It says it right there in our founding documents. Okay, so it's not up for debate. No part of our Constitution is up for debate, or you can argue incoherently as Joe Biden can seem to form sentences, as he so, incoherently does on occasion. It's not up for debate. It says it in explicit terms. It is our God-given right to protect ourselves. And that was not given by the government. That was not given by our forefathers, okay? It was written in there because they recognized that God, our Creator, gives us the right to protect ourselves. And that includes from any harm that may come our way, whether it be from government trying to suppress our rights, whether it be from criminals who seek to harm us, or whether it be from, possibly even loved ones, or anything else that might seek to harm us, wild animals, whatever the case may be. God put humans here on this earth for a divine reason that none of us will ever understand until we go up to be with Him. And for the government to try to come in and say that, no, we're going to take your guns away because we don't think that you, as human beings, as divine parts that came from God, divine parts of this, very complex civilization and society that was designed by a creator, you guys don't have the wherewithal to be able to protect yourselves and to be able to determine what is a threat and what is not a threat without the assistance of the government. And the government has to be the only ones that can come in and help if there's problems. I'm sorry, but no, I don't trust my government. I don't trust in a lot of ways the police to be able to protect me. I have to be able to protect myself as God had intended. And, people try to make out Christianity and Jesus Christ to be this, docile man who never wanted to harm anybody. It's not actually true. Jesus Christ was the most kind. He is the Son of God. He is the most perfect and the only perfect man to ever live. And so he also did things, and I don't know the exact Bible references, guys. This is a little bit cloudy, but I'm just trying to say that, Jesus, in order to get his point across during biblical times, was not this docile person. He was forceful in his teachings. He was explicit in his teachings. He understood that in order to represent his Father, our Most High God, there is a way that humans need to act. And there is a way that is right, and there is a way that is wrong. And we all should have been taught right from wrong as children, guys. This is basics. This is going back to the basics. But, Joe Biden doesn't seem to understand that because he doesn't really understand right from wrong, as we all know. Bidens are crooked. Joe Biden is a crooked politician who has taken advantage not only of this country, of the people of this country, and of his so-called Catholic religion and Catholic faith for far too long, and keeps getting away with it. But not here. Not here. Because I can see right through him, and I understand that he's an agent who's been compromised, and he is not of God, he is of Satan. And for you to try to take people's weapons away, you're trying to disadvantage them. You're trying to make it to where they are more vulnerable and could possibly be killed because you don't want them to have guns because you don't trust them and you don't think that they can make their own decisions and can defend themselves. And that is utter bullshit. Pardon the language, but it is. I'm sorry. Banning guns, guys, does not take them out of the hands of criminals. In fact, if we ban guns, if we were to ban any kind of guns, which will never happen in this country, I've said this before and I'll say it again, you're not taking my guns. Not a single one. I don't care what you ban. I don't care what happens. It's not happening. And I won't, a lot of people hold my same views, but trying to ban guns does not take them out of the hands of criminals. We all know this. Look at drugs. Look at everything else. Look at murder. Murder has been illegal for all of time. We have said that you cannot take the life of another. But does that stop people from murdering? Do making drugs illegal stop people from taking drugs, selling drugs? No, it doesn't. It does not. So what makes people think that tighter regulations or tighter laws on guns is going to take them out of the hands of criminals? All you're doing is disarming a law-abiding public and, letting criminals then go on to terrorize said public. And this is not an original point, guys. We all know this. We've all heard this. I've spoken on this before, I'm sure, in other videos. This is not news. So for people and leftists to keep on this, topic like a dog with a bone, and every time there's a tragedy, try to go and, just put a spin on this, and to try to go and use this as a political tool to further an agenda of, gun grabbing, or even just outlawing certain types of guns. It makes me sick. It really does. And it's like I said, it's just not happening here. So let's get into, this article is from the New York Post. It's titled, Biden Goes on Anti-Gun Tirade, Suggests There's No Rational Basis for 9mm Pistols. Okay, I have a 9mm pistol. I have many guns that are, I'm not going to get into it, but it's not happening, Joe Biden. It's just not happening. And for you to try to go on and put this into the media, it's planting a seed. That's all it's doing. When these politicians come on here and talk about banning 9mm pistols, they're planting a seed in the heads of people who might be easily persuaded or might be easily swayed on a gun debate, that if they hear it in the media, if they hear it from, former Vice President Joe Biden, acting pudding pop, then later on down the road, when they really try to push this and actually try to push this into legislation, it won't come as such a shock to people. And that's all they try to do. They've been doing this for decades with assault rifles or assault weapons. They've been using those terms in the media to soften the blow for when they actually try to act and take these weapons from us. So this is just a seed planting by Joe Biden, and I'm surprised he's even able to string a sentence together still. But let's see what this article goes on to say. President Biden ranted against ownership of what he called high-caliber weapons Monday, appearing to suggest that there should be restrictions on the most popular handgun in America, the 9mm pistol, and repeating a previously debunked claim that the Second Amendment prohibits ownership of cannons. And he's made that point before, guys. It's been debunked. He keeps saying it. He doesn't really know what he's saying, I'm sure. We can all agree that he's an incoherent idiot at this point. He's an embarrassment and a stain on this country, but yet he continues to speak. So, The article goes on, speaking to reporters outside the White House after returning to Washington from a weekend that included a visit to the site of last week's mass shooting in Texas. Biden recounted a visit to a trauma hospital in New York where he said doctors had showed him x-rays of gunshot wounds caused by various firearms. They said a .22 caliber bullet will lodge in the lung and we can probably get it out. May be able to get it and save the life, Biden said. A 9mm bullet blows out the lung of the body. So, first of all, not only is it incoherent, it's incorrect. And it is just stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. It all depends on, first of all, the type of ammunition that's in the gun. Is it a regular slug? Is it a hollow point round? These are all things that matter when it comes to the type of damage that is inflicted by these rounds. And a .22 caliber hollow point round, especially getting several off into a person. Say someone were to enter this house right now. If I were to pull out my .22 and put some hollow point rounds in there and shoot the suspect that enters my house illegally, if I were to get off several rounds into him, it might not immediately take him out or, cause him to immediately go down. But that person will actually have more of a risk of dying later at a hospital because those rounds are so small, they can do serious internal damage. Now with a 9mm, it's a little bit stronger, especially if it's a slug, or, it can do more damage inside if it's a hollow point round. All of these things make a difference, guys, but it does not matter. If you are having to shoot your gun in self-defense, you want what is going to help save your own life, and you're not worried about the life at the other end of the gun because that person is trying to harm you. If we're talking about worst case scenario here, if we're talking about an actual scenario of self-defense, that's what we're talking about. So the article continues. So the idea of these high caliber weapons is there's simply no rational basis for it in terms of thinking about self-protection. Hunting, the president went on. Later in his remarks, Biden appeared to rule out the possibility of taking major executive action on guns, saying, "I can't dictate this stuff. I can do the things I've done, and any executive action I can take, I'll continue to take, but I can't outlaw a weapon. I can't, change the background checks. I can't do that." You can't do anything, you fucking retard. Oh, sorry, he makes me so mad. Biden's statements about 9mm pistols are in keeping with his rhetoric before entering the White House. At a 2019 fundraiser in Seattle, for example, then candidate Biden asked his audience, "Why should we allow people to have military-style weapons, including pistols with 9mm bullets, and can hold 10 or more rounds?" According to Shooting Industry magazine, 9mm pistols accounted for 56.8% of all handguns made in the U.S. during 2019. In all, more than 15.1 million 9mm handguns were produced in this country during the 2010s. The possibility of outlawing or otherwise regulating such weapons is likely to be a non-starter among conservatives and gun right advocates. And you're fucking right about that. Pardon the language again. Remember, Biden goes on to say, remember, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, was never absolute. You couldn't buy a cannon when the Second Amendment was passed. You couldn't go out and purchase a lot of weapons. I'm sorry, yes, the fuck you can, and you could. So, he's so ignorant. Biden has made that claim before, most recently when he announced new regulations to stop the spread of so-called ghost guns. And they have been repeatedly declared false by fact checkers. The Second Amendment did not place limits on individual ownership of cannons. PolitiFact stated in April when it rated his claim false. PolitiFact. The website pointed out the text of the Constitution, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. A+. Continuing. Despite widespread public outrage over Tuesday's massacre at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, and the racially motivated May 14th mass shooting at a Buffalo grocery store, Biden said he had not yet spoken with any Republican about potential gun control legislation, but expressed hope for a compromise. I think things have gotten so bad that everyone is getting more rational about it, he said. At least that's my hope and prayer. I'm sorry. I thought we were over the hopes and prayers. We definitely don't want yours, Biden. Your hopes and prayers are to the devil. We don't need that. No, thank you. Continuing with the New York Post article, asked whether Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell authorizing Senator John Cornyn to work with Democrats could lead to results, Biden said, I don't know. I think Senator McConnell is a rational Republican. I think Cornyn is as well, he added. I think there's a recognition in their part that we can't continue like this. We can't do it. And those are two Republicans that I think we need to be voting out of the Senate. Anybody that Joe Biden calls a rational Republican, I don't fuck with you. I don't endorse you. I don't like John Cornyn. I used to live in Texas. He was my senator at one point. There were times when I didn't even like Ted Cruz. Like, I was very unhappy with Ted Cruz's job that he was doing. So I definitely don't like John Cornyn. Mitch McConnell is a joke. He should have been gone a long time ago. And there's only a handful, I would say a literal handful of senators, Republican senators, that I believe need to stay in the positions that they're in. All the others should be voted out immediately because they're all soft. So that's going to be it for this article, guys. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below about Biden's remarks. What do y'all think is going on with the Pudding Pop President-in-Chief himself? And what do y'all think about the possibility that he wants to ban 9mm pistols? Let me know, guys. I'm very curious. And then we're going to go on to speak about another joke of a man. A very beta male himself. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau proposes a national freeze on handgun sales. Wow. Where do I begin? So, as you guys know from previous videos, or if you don't know, I have a very special relationship with Justin Trudeau. I have a very special opinion of him, and it's that he is a pussy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the language. Again, this is not for kids, but anyways, I'm sorry. The vulgar language, it's required when talking about someone like Justin Trudeau. So before we get into this article from MSN.com, there was a clip on Louder with Crowder that was just perfect, in my opinion, and it showed his comments about this potential national freeze on handgun sales. So it's not a very long clip, but I do want to get into this from Louder with Crowder, and here we go. Alright, guys, let's let him take it away, as only he can.
Yeah, they still don't let you commit murder.
It's his calling card.
So.
Accidental murder on purpose.
Right. I don't know the legal classification, but he's a dick.
Yeah, that's what it is. He just careless murder.
Right. So Justin Trudeau is back to being, a tyrant, and this time he's now banning any new ownership of handguns. So we have him here discussing. This is the Prime Minister of Canada for people who don't follow. For people who aren't Canadian, you probably don't. No one really cares, but it does matter. Here he is discussing the new ban at a press conference.
We're introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership.
Sorry, we screwed up. Our mistake.
Yeah,
We have the actual clip.
We're introducing.
Wait, before I go on this, I just love that so much. Shout out to Steven Crowder. That is one of my favorite shows. To me, he's not the most conservative. Don't get me wrong, he's a conservative. But, there's that, I also watch Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is, one of my other favorite political shows. And he's definitely far right. But Steven Crowder, I think, is more like centrist. But I love that he gets Justin Trudeau on his blackface stunts every single time. And so do I. Justin Trudeau loves blackface. He appreciates it. He values it. He shows his appreciation any and every time he can. And that's just, you gotta admire it, guys. You have to admire the dedication to Justin Trudeau's love for blackface. And I just want to pause once more before I play this clip. Look at this idiot with all the maskers in the back. That should tell you, and you know, Canadian truckers, I'm still with you guys. Canada, you know, for a while, whenever the whole trucking thing was going on, I was so gung-ho for Canada. I was like, yes, love it. We stand with you. Let's the U.S. take over Canada, kick Justin Trudeau out, and they can be our brothers, you know, but there's a lot wrong with Canada also. And Justin Trudeau is the epitome of everything that's wrong with Canada. And all these masked freaks in back of him are also the epitome of what's wrong with Canada. So let's let him talk.
Introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. What this means is that it will no longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada. In other words,
That one
we're
clap.
capping the market for handguns.
That one
Look how
fucking
smart.
clap. Oh my god, wait, I didn't ever hear that. That was funny. So yeah, I don't want to get into this whole article because he pretty much just stated, and we don't really care that much about Canada. They are America's hat, and we don't really care, but this also has repercussions on us here in the United States because Justin Trudeau can get up online and get behind his stupid little podium, his little bilingual podium, and try to say, you know, with his concerned voice and his concerned face, we are going to ban all handguns because the United States, they're just out of control. They're just out of control. Boy, who do you come running to every single time there's an issue? If somebody were to try to invade Canada, who do you think the first people they would come running to would be? Anybody? Anybody? Crickets? No? U.S.? Maybe? Yeah? Yeah, it'd be us. That's why every country, whoever gets into any kind of trouble, whoever gets their ass into a snare with any other nation, comes running to the United States, comes running to Big Papa. Because at the end of the day, they know the United States has the grit, we have the guns, and we have the glory. And although there is a massive attempt right now to delegitimize our country and to make the U.S. into this embarrassment and to make us into this shamed nation, there are many people in this country who are not going to go for that. And yes, we've made mistakes along the way. Yes, there are things that we're not perfect on. There are things that we could currently be improving on all of the time. But we are still the United States. And having America's hat ban or put a freeze on handguns is a big deal. And we have to understand that. There's nothing we can do about it as U.S. citizens. There's nothing we should do about it. But we need to know what's going on and to recognize what politicians are doing so close to home and what our politicians would like to do to us. And speaking of politicians that would like to do things to us, Nancy Dirtbag Pelosi. Okay, guys, let's get into Nancy and Paul. Here they are. What a beautiful couple they are. What a just gorgeous woman she is. With those dentures that are never secure and just the right way. With that glossed over stare, that look in her eyes. That 3 Vicodins and 5 shots of whiskey into the day look that she so elegantly wears every single day. It is a scream to me. It's very funny to me that Nancy Pelosi would have your guns confiscated yesterday. She would have made abortion legal in all 50 states and any term. Even though she's supposedly Catholic, she would have made it legal yesterday. Well, well, well. Here we are. Paul Pelosi denies running through a stop sign before a DUI crash. What? Say it is not so. Let's get into it, guys. This article is from yahoo.com. Okay. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was reportedly picked up for drunk driving over the holiday weekend, and now he's claiming reports about the incident contain incorrect information. Quote, unquote. On Sunday night, Paul Pelosi, the husband of the House Speaker, was reportedly on his way home from a party in Napa County, California, when his 2021 Porsche was hit by a Jeep. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the California Highway Patrol ruled neither party was at immediate fault for the accident. It's unclear from the available reports if Mr. Pelosi failed a field sobriety test or if another incident tipped police off to his condition, but he allegedly had a blood alcohol content of at least 0.08%. Police arrested Mr. Pelosi, who was charged with 2 misdemeanors. In San Francisco, I'm sure that's not going to go very far. On Tuesday, Mr. Pelosi's spokesman, Larry Kramer, suggested that reports about his client contained incorrect information. Several news reports about Saturday night's traffic incident involving Paul Pelosi have included incorrect information, Mr. Kramer said in a statement, according to the Daily Beast. According to Mr. Kramer, the reports are erroneously attributing a past traffic infraction to the wrong Mr. Pelosi. Mr. Kramer is not specific as to what information exactly is being misattributed, but he did appear on Fox News and was insisted Mr. Pelosi did not run a stop sign and cause the traffic accident. So he's not denying that the Speaker of the House's husband was out drunk driving to possibly potentially kill somebody, but he was insistent that he didn't run a stop sign while he was drunk driving. You guys you're all spreading misinformation. You're all a bunch of Russian agents. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? He didn't run a stop sign. He was just drunk driving. Regular drunk driving, guys. It's not that serious. It's not like he ran a stop sign, you know. God, stop with the disinformation. You freaking Russians. He just was drunk driving. There's no stop sign ran, okay? Get it right. God. Some earlier reports claimed that Mr. Pelosi blew through a stop sign. Duh, not right. Which resulted in the Jeep clipping his rear bumper. A prior driving offense erroneously attributed to Mr. Pelosi is untrue and likely refers to an unrelated person with the same name. This error must be corrected, he said. There are also incorrect reports that misstates the timing of events. So guys, get your timing right. Ugh. He was only drunk driving at midnight, not at 1 a.m., guys. Jeez. You guys need to get your lives correct. So that's what Yahoo.com says. No further details from this left-wing news source. Surprise, surprise there. But I just thought that this story was kind of funny. And I just wanted to include it because, you know, Nancy Pelosi wants your guns just as bad as Justin Trudeau, just as bad as Joe Biden, just as bad as Kamala, whatever. They all want them. Don't give them to these dirty politicians to make yourselves a victim, to allow you to not be able to protect your families. Just don't do it, guys. I mean, it's as simple as that. If you end up giving up your guns, there's no guarantee that you'll ever get them back. Or the rights that we give up to government, there's no guarantee that we will ever get back if we allow these politicians to come in and act like they know what's best for us and they know what's best for our families when they can't even be bothered to call for a sober ride. They would rather drive drunk, hit vehicles on the road. I don't want to get the timing or the allegations of stop sign running, mixed up here, but let's just say that they're willing to drunk drive, and they're willing to do blackface. They are willing to do dirty dealings in Ukraine, launder money and such, allegedly, but they want to control your lives and tell you how to live. Does that make sense? I don't think so. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, please. Thank you again for being here with me today, and I hope you will subscribe. I hope you will comment, like, share the video, whatever you got to do. Do it. Love you guys. I will see you next time. Maybe, maybe not, but until then, I love you. Bye.